Okay, well, welcome on this 4th day of January 2017. Happy New Year and welcome to the Bajani Gym for matchup between the Golden Horde from West Rutland and the Proctor Phantoms, a long-time crosstown rivalry that's had a lot of history, a lot of great games between the two. I'm here as usual with Hall of Fame coach Wade Mitchell. And
Happy New Year to you, Matt.
What do you think we can expect in this game?
Well, West Rutland's going to have a hard time staying with the Phantoms. Although over the years I've seen this before, and even when I was coaching, the best team doesn't always win in this one.
Starting for each side, Andre Greb, Gannon McKieran, Joe Parker, Logan Landon, and Nick Ojala for the Phantoms. In the home whites going left to right, and for the Golden Horde, Jacob Dow, Francis Grabowski, Brendan Forrest, Brian Maxim, and William Grabowski. Proctor gets the tip and misses on the first shot. Rebound over to the Horde, and here we go.
Proctor's definitely got the size. West Rutland's going to have a hard time on the boards with him.
Yeah, they also have back-to-back state championships, and they start 5 seniors, and that type of experience you just can't make up for sometimes. Nick Ojala trying to push the action, turns the ball over. That was just a little bit of adrenaline wearing off right there, I think. Grabowski inside. And here comes Ojala over to Joe Parker. Proctor is trying to force the action. And actually, with this team, the running game on the home floor tends to not be quite as good because the floor is just not big enough.
Not big enough, no.
They tend to do better on bigger floors, but you play half your games here, and they seem to do okay. It's a couple times down in a row where West Rutland hasn't gotten a shot off on the offensive possession. That little shot on the inside for Logan Landon's got to be there all day. He's bigger and stronger than everybody, and he's quicker than the guy who's guarding him.
Twin field game. He had a fantastic first half. Hit the boards. He took care of their big men, neutralized them. Second half, we didn't see him.
He does at times have a tendency to disappear, and I wonder whether at times whether his teammates are looking for him or not. Proctor up by 2, and Joe Valerio checking in for Joe Parker.
certainly wouldn't get many more people in here. This place is jammed.
Yep, well. Rebound to Joe Valerio, out to Gannon McKieran, who takes it hard to the hoop for 2.
Oh.
Logan Landon goes down.
Pretty bad here.
It doesn't look too bad. I think.
Looks like you might be all right.
Normally when they stop the clock like that, you have to come out.
Yep.
But I guess because the coach didn't go out on the floor, they just give the possession back over to Westside. And Logan matches up. Steal by Ojala. And now it's 6-0 Proctor.
Anticipation right there.
Westside seeming to have trouble getting into its set. Met at the rim that time by Logan Landon with the block. West Rutland again having trouble getting into its offense. Here comes Ojala over to McKieran for 3 from the corner. Proctor's up 9-0.
We could very well see a reversal of what the JV game was. They're headed in that direction.
Well, Westside came out this year with a 4-0 record and playing some teams from the Northeast Kingdom and maybe some of the weaker teams in Division 4. And they looked pretty good during that stretch, but has since hit a couple of snags. And I think that tonight may well be
a big snag.
Another snag. Proctor into their 1-3-1 trap.
Hey, Rover! Rover! Go! Will, you're the Rover! Will, you're the Rover! Will, you're the Rover! Good!
Seems to confuse Westside.
Better pass! Better pass!
1-3-1 half-court trap is usually one that if you move the ball, you can actually get a layup out of it, but you got to know what you're looking for. And right now, it doesn't look like Westside knows exactly what it's looking for. Proctor gets the turnover on the trap, and active hands and confusion on Westside's part led to that.
Sorry, kid.
And here comes Ojala. Over to Valerio, to Greb, to Logan Landon on the inside. It's now 11-0. Getting ready to check into the game, Derek Almond for the Phantoms. Westside having a lot of difficulty trying to figure out what to do with this 1-3-1. Splits the trap that time right into Logan Landon's hands, and McKieran misses the layup. That's about the only thing that Proctor hasn't done right so far. That's William Grabowski for 3. Logan Landon all night down inside.
West Rutland has nobody that can match up with him. He should have a big night.
Another rebound for Landon. Turnover by Ojala that time. Palming the ball was the call. Almond in for Andre Greb. Proctor stays in that 1-3-1. Maintaining a 10-point lead, 13-3 with 2:11 left. Foul on Nick Ojala, number 24. That's his first, team's first. Foul was on the shot. So Jacob Bartlett goes to the line for the Horde, looking to bring the lead under 10. It's 1 out of 2. And back come the Phantoms with 2 minutes left in the quarter. McKieran for 3. Way off the mark that time. Proctor down a man-to-man. Blocking foul on McKieran. That's his first, team's second. Good defense on the inside that time. Offensive rebound by Almond. That comes west side, now cutting the lead to 7 with a minute left. Proctor could do with a little bit more ball movement in their half-court offense. Kind of lob pass on the inside. Gets away from Greb. Ojala comes out for the last 54 seconds. Make sure he doesn't pick up his second in the first quarter. Good box out and rebound by Joe Parker that time. Picked up over the back foul on Francis Grabowski. 40 seconds left. Parker's taking the ball into Joe Valerio, and Proctor's in the flex. Turnover that time. Derek Almond with a great block from behind. Foul that time on number 10, Andre Greb. 10 seconds left. Proctor playing a little offense defense. Maxim at the foul line. Hits the first. And after Proctor got off to a really hot start, Little by little, West Side's chipped its way back into the game, trailing by 6, with the opportunity to cut it to 5. Boy, they seemed like they could have got a lot better out of that than that. I mean, that was a 25-footer, and there was still 6 seconds left on the clock when he shot it.
Right.
If you advance the ball with the pass, and you could get 2 or 3 passes before you have to put a shot up under that circumstance. But with the end of the quarter, Proctor maintains a 6-point lead. Proctor has 3 team fouls to 1 for West Side. Nobody's in particular foul trouble.
I think Proctor's got to reverse the ball more on offense.
Definitely more movement in the ball movement in the half court. Seems that Proctor, skill-wise and athletically, probably has an advantage at every position. And when you get into that situation, you think you can just take everybody off the dribble every single time, and you probably can, but it doesn't make for good basketball, and it ultimately keeps teams in the game that don't belong in the game.
I think Jake subbed a little bit more than he normally does also. He never got really into a rhythm. I think Landon's the type of kid that he probably needs that subbing more often to keep him fresh.
You tend to find that with some of the bigger guys. It's got a little quickness there on the inside too, and I know that the West Side center, Brendan Forrest, he's a big kid, and his feet are a little bit slow, and so he looks all that much more quick. But Joe Valerio from the corner for 3.
That freshman.
Proctor pushes the lead back to 9. That 1-3-1 does cause West Side some problems, but I don't know that you can stay in that for too awful long. Joe Valerio with the up fake and the pull up scored the last 5 points, and Proctor now goes up by 11 with 6:55 left in the second quarter. Another turnover by West Side. Proctor defense really confusing their half-court offense. Rebound by Maxim. Try to high pick and roll that time, and Ojala took the jump shot off of it. Ojala's got to have a little bit better shot selection.
Yeah, well, he's got to pass the ball a little bit more.
I know he's been Dream Dozen and the like, but he's got a good group of players to play with, so he doesn't have to do it all himself.
Rover, let's go!
Ooh, dangerous pass that time.
Last drink, see ya! Thank you!
Nice pass, pocket pass inside to Maxim, who converts, cuts the lead to 9. ball now into Landon. No answers in there.
He's just eating them up.
Whether he outpowers them or whether he does it with his quickness, he's really having an impact on the game down low.
Gotta get there.
Oh. Everybody was boxed out, but nobody went for the ball.
Alman's doing a good job on the board.
Yep. Wide open three off the mark that time. Gannon hasn't quite found his range yet in this game, but he's a good three-point shooter. He tends to be a little streaky. Almond with another rebound.
Yep.
Now that right there is Ojala's move.
That's his game right
where
there.
He can take a one-dribble drive and soar over the person on the inside. Proctor extends its lead to 22-9 with 4:35 left in the second. No particular foul trouble, and Proctor has 3 team fouls, 2 team fouls for Westside. So I'm not seeing anything so far in this game that leads me to believe anything different than when it started.
No.
But Westside is game at least, and they're keeping themselves in it.
They're very quick, and I think probably that's what prompted Jake to go that 1-3-1.
Proctor now going man-to-man. Doing a nice job of containing on the outside. Just seems oftentimes Westside seems very confused on the offensive end in the half court. Maxim over the back that time. Joe Valerio off the mark with a 3. Gannon McCarron, nice dish inside. Andre Greb looked like his brother in the JV game right there. Just point blank shots that were not going down. I wonder too, he has an injury to his left hand, and I wonder how much that affects what he's doing.
Last game against Twinsfield, he had an injury to his foot. Rumor had it was a car ran over it, or a vehicle.
And I had heard that it was an ice skating accident, but Ojala for 3. Proctor extends to 14-point lead with 2:50 left in the second. Team fouls now tied at 3, evened up at 3. Good straight up and down defense that time. Pass inside, good patience by Westside that time. Nice swing on the outside. Good ball movement by Proctor. Really good ball movement that time.
Nice passes.
Teams don't want to play defense that long.
No.
You know, you get a team playing defense for 30 seconds. And after about 30 seconds, it starts to break down. If you move the ball enough, you're going to get a shot or a foul.
Boy, wow.
Screen and roll that time on the wing. Ball out to Brendan Harvey. Jacob Dow at the top of the key. Wild kind of shot that time. Jacob Dow over the back of Gannon McKieran. 1:10 left. Proctor up 25-13. Logan Landon putting the pressure again on the West Rutland zone. That's now the 6th foul, team foul on West Side, and the 2nd personal foul on Brendan Forrest on the inside. So with 59 seconds left in the half, it's a 25-13 lead. And Proctor pretty much controlling the action.
The refs are letting them play, and I like that. 6 fouls on West Rutland, 3 on the Phantoms.
I like the last couple of possessions for Proctor. The ball movement has been very good, inside out, side to side. And when that happens, they get themselves either close to the hoop or wide open jump shots.
The big thing is McKern's going to hit those 3-pointers. He looks like he's strong.
You know, what I actually see with it, and this is probably pretty technical, but he's bringing the shot down to his chest like a set shot, and when he's hitting them, he's shooting it from above his forehead, and when he extends, he gets good rotation. If he keeps it down by his chest, it's more like a push shot, and that isn't working right now. Derek Hammond with
air ball.
I think you got to be able to get something better than that with 50 seconds left. He's done such a good job on the boards and defensively. Coach Eaton calls for 19 seconds left.
Boy.
I don't think that's what he was looking for there. Gives West Rutland time to get a shot off. Good defense that time. And Proctor closes the half with a 25-13 lead.
Seems like a quick first half.
Well, there weren't a lot of fouls, that's for sure, and so nobody's going to the line. There weren't a lot of timeouts. Running down the scoring for Westside. Jacob Bartlett has one. Jacob Dow has 2. Brian Maxim has 3, and William Grabowski has 2, 4, 7. For the Phantoms, Joe Valerio has 5, Gannon McKieran has 5, Logan Landon has 8, and Nick Ojala has 2, 4, 7 for 25. Score at halftime, 25-13. Foul-wise, Forrest and Maxim both have 2. Brian Maxim both have 2 for West Rutland. Nobody has more than 1. There are only 3 fouls for Proctor in the first half. So pretty well played half. And we'll be back.
7-2-2-0.
Okay, so we're back for the second half. Proctor takes the ball in on the change of possession, and here we go. Same starters for Proctor as that started the game, same starters for Westside. Double down that time by Jordan Johnson. Actually, Jordan Johnson is in. He didn't start the game. Going with a little bit of a different starting lineup, but ball turns over to Westside. Maxim over to Dow. Over to William Grabowski. Turnover by Westside. And up to McKieran, who draws the foul going to the hole.
Should be 2. Yep.
I guess in the prior game against Twinfield, Proctor had a rough time from the line. Read in the paper that it was they were 2 for 11 and missed 9 in a row. And this, I think, is the first free throw of the game for Proctor. Went a whole half with none. And 1 for 2 for McCarran.
I believe that Twinfield game, it might have been 2 for 12. Pretty sure.
Yeah,
my statistician was correct, and she usually is.
Yeah, paper, I guess, had it wrong, but I guess at one point they missed 9 consecutive free throws. And still lost by only 6, so. Big rebound.
Oh, look at that.
Big rebound outlet by Logan Landon to McCarran, and you're not going to catch him when he's out in front of the field.
3 on 2 there.
Go through, Will Parker, you can help, buddy. Not a shooter, Joe, not a shooter. Andre, pat him out.
Good rebound that time by Ojala. Crosses over. Foul on Forrest. That's his 3rd. He's having his hands full with Logan Landon down on the inside. Proctor takes ball into the backcourt. Ojala brings it up. Ball into Andre Greb, out to Ojala, who hits the 3. Joe Valerio getting ready to check into the game. Proctor now up by 18 with 6 minutes left in the 3rd. I think that ball was deflected on the shot. Good quick hands that time by Jacob Dow. Knocks the ball out of bounds. Joe Valerio checking in for the Phantoms. Proctor running a high pick and roll on the opposite side, and Nick Ojala takes his seat.
But it's slow it down and set it up. And a little ragged here.
Proctor with the ball inside. Nice move on the inside by Jordan Johnson. Tough shot. Ojala answers quickly. Proctor back up by 18.
Right him the whole way. Get him down there, left.
Rebound by McKieran. Up to Greb. Over to Ojala. To Valerio. High pick. Valerio, little crossover dribble, gets to the middle. Non-shooting on the floor. It's a third team foul. Second on Dow. Good movement this time again. In and out that time. Derek Almond getting ready to go in. Almond had a good first half on the boards and defensively. Spectacular block earlier in the game. Maxim completely out of control that time. Up quick to Ojala, off the mark. Grabowski that time for three. Cuts the lead to 15. Inside to Landon. He gets bumped off the shot by Maxim. Turnover by Westside. Here comes McKieran like a freight train all the way to the hoop, but off the mark. Westside deciding it doesn't want to get into that kind of game with Proctor and pulls the ball back, slows it down. Grabowski off the mark this time. Landon stripped on the inside. That would have been a good inside-out play, either to the corner or to Valerio at the wing.
Wide open on the wing.
Stay there. Andre, stay right here.
Good closeout that time. Good rebound by McKieran. I think that both sides got to know that the referees are letting them play. If you force the contact, you're not necessarily going to get the call. Air ball that time. Ball up to Greb. It doesn't finish at the rim.
Ball doesn't want to go in.
Still a 15-point lead for Proctor because Westside hasn't been able to take advantage of these turnovers and changes of possession. Good perimeter defense that time. They're looking to try to post Valerio this time with the that call does seem out of character with the rest of the game, given the what they're letting go on the outside and on drives to the hoop. So, but it is what it is.
They brought Maxim out high post, and that brings Landon away from the boards underneath.
Although with Maxim, you can kind of leave him out there. He really doesn't shoot the ball.
No.
And one that time. Returns the favor. Maxim's a big, strong kid, but he's not that big and he's not that strong. So Landon, with a little fake to the middle, was able to turn right to the paint, or right to the square and put it in. Gets to the line, shooting one for the old-fashioned three-point play. Almond on the inside. Nice ball movement that time.
Almond over the top.
Almond being very active on the offensive board. He's had a good game. I mean, it's not always what shows up in the scorebook that is the important thing. If you got other people who are putting the ball in the hoop, and I think Almond's had a really good game off the boards and defensively.
I have no problem with that last fellow. He keeps him aggressive. And when he's aggressive, he's got some athletic skill.
Proctor now starting to run, and good outlet. And Ojala gets all the way to the hoop for the and one. Proctor now up by 19, 35 seconds left in the third. Proctor now up by 20 with 35 seconds left in the third quarter.
Francis behind you, Joe. Derek, Francis. Right there, Derek. Good job.
That little three-quartering of the inside player by Logan Landon made that a very tough pass, and that lob was not good enough to get there. I'm not even sure if you could make a pass that was good enough to get there. Forrest picks up another one, I think. And that's his fourth foul. No real answers for Logan Landon. 8 seconds left. Forrest coming out. I think he's going to be dreaming about Logan Landon tonight. Nightmares.
You'll remember that name.
Three-quarter court shot by Dow, and Proctor has a decent quarter, extending their lead to 20. 38-18, and one of the things you're starting to see here is that Westside just does not have the ability to score. Proctor's defense, even with the mishaps that Proctor has sometimes on the offensive side, Westside is just not able to put the ball in the hoop. And actually, just what you said about the prior JV game, very similar, except the roles were reversed in the JV game.
Scores not going to be that far from the same.
Proctor not being able to put the ball in the hoop.
Proctor's getting the ball up court in a hurry. They could slow it down just a little bit. Either that or send everybody to the boards, because they're missing some bunnies.
Yeah, I mean, this could easily be a 30-point game by now with the layups that were missed. I also noticed that from an offensive standpoint, you seem to get a little bit more quickness, a little bit more flow when Derek Almond came into the game. And his length is causing problems.
He could be a big factor down the road for the Phantoms. This is one of the best games I've seen him play.
As long as he stays away from that three-point shot,
yeah.
I think that he's going to be all right. And he's only a junior this year, so he'll be back.
Boy.
Nice entry pass, good move to the middle, and just not finished. That was kind of interesting on that play that nice.
I was just scouring the floor.
Hit the trailer and dropped the three on the prior play. Joe Valerio made a ball fake into Landon, and after he faked it, and he didn't get the ball, Landon kind of looked the other way, and then the ball came and like hit him in the hands, but he was looking the other way. He got fooled by the fake. It's kind of a interesting, funny play. I don't know if in post-production they can pull that out and take a look at it, but that's I see that as a interesting little blooper in what is not very funny about the rest of the game.
Checking the footwear on the referees tonight. I don't see any white sneakers. By the way, I was watching a football game this weekend. All referees wear that white trim on their sneakers. Football.
Well, you know, times have changed.
Yep.
I think somehow I've been Snapchatted or something, or Instagrammed. Our scorekeeper here, well, that was one way to do it. If Westside put 6 guys on the floor, maybe they make a little headway. Proctor now back in their 1-3-1. Dow from outside hits the 3. And Ojala immediately turns the ball over. Proctor up by 20 still. There is something to be said for momentum, and when you got somebody on the ropes, make sure you take them out. Nice play by Ahmed. He's so long. And Joey Parker taking it nicely to the hoop. Gets fouled on the way, and it'll go to the line. Foul that time on number 35, William Grabowski. Puts Joe Parker at the line, shooting 2. Proctor up by 20 with 6:28 left in the 4th. And Joey off the mark on the first one. And misses the second. Met him at the rim for the first one. Westside turning up the defensive pressure a little bit. The way that Westside can get back into this is if they start hitting some threes.
Yep. They're still hustling.
Joe Parker's, he must think there's a lid on that hoop. Westside really doesn't have the luxury of time. Full timeout by Jake Eaton brings the Phantoms over.
41-23, the Phantoms at 4:42 in the final period.
Proctor will be shooting in the bonus for the remainder of the game, and that's been the case for a little while here. Westside has made a little bit of a run at the very beginning of this quarter, and has actually cut 5 points off the lead. Unfortunately, the lead was 23 at the time they did it, so that's it's a little tough.
Yep. Boy, looking at the clock over there, if we started at 7 like we're supposed to, this game's going to get over with in not much more than an hour. That's quick. We may have started a little bit early.
Proctor in the flex now. Gets the ball to Logan Landon. There you go.
Oh.
Gannon McKieran off the mark with that three. And interestingly enough, I mean, Proctor has a lot of room to improve in this, over their performance in this game, and that's got to make him feel good, because Gannon McKieran doesn't shoot the way he's shot in this game typically.
Not normally, no. He's a much better shooter. The last shot he took looked like he completely lost his concentration.
One thing I remember from number 22 there is that he is an excellent shooter, Kyle Laughlin, and that time Andre Greb is going to get himself to the line.
22 is only a freshman.
Yep, I remember him on JV and in 7th and 8th grade, and one of the things he can do is shoot. Looks like he's got a solid body on him. And, if he maybe if he grows a little bit or gets a little quicker, he's going to be a good player for Westside.
Boy.
I think that other teams are going to start taking note of who you can hack at the end of a game if you need to take a foul. Nice blocks out that time, and here comes Ojala. Derek Almond getting ready to go back in. Travel that time. Ball turns over to Proctor. I think that Jake Eaton is giving various players the opportunity to close out a game. Nice pass. That time finished by Greb. .242 left. Proctor with a commanding lead. Nice high screen.
That was a good call.
Yeah, he was hand fighting with the West Side player and
absolutely
pushed his arm away and then grabbed the ball. Although frankly, it's kind of a good play if you're if you're trying to get the ball. I don't think most refs catch that, but it was not a bad call.
Come on.
Ball inside to Landon, and again that gets foul over the top on 35. William Grabowski puts Logan Landon at the line for 2. I believe it was on the shot, not on the floor, so I guess we will see. It looks like it's 1-1 apparently. So it was a foul on the floor. Proctor misses another.
Does it matter?
Joe Valerio for 3. Proctor goes up by 20 again. 2 minutes left. Andre Greb getting ready to check back into the game. That's one of those ones where you...
Good no call.
Yeah, he kind of threw himself between the two and he initiated the contact and got the worst of it. Good ball movement.
This is what I like.
They ought to work this until they get a layup. Yep. And there's the layup. And one. And Proctor's now pulling away. Up 23. Nick Ojula coming out of the game, 1:29 left. And Joe Parker checking in. Andre Greb getting ready to get in for Logan Landon, who dribbles that in, and he is now replaced with 1:29 left. Proctor now with a 24-point lead with 1:29 left in the contest.
I'll get it.
Good rebound by Almond. Nice on the inside. Proctor just too big, too strong, and over a period of time they just wear West Rutland down.
Grady's a shooter, buddy. Grady's a shooter.
Westside needs to get shots up, but at this point,
knocked his own man down.
Yep. Derek really likes that three-pointer, I guess,
yeah.
huh?
Yep.
27 seconds left, and Jake Eaton imploring his troops to finish, which is, play smart. We don't need 30-footers with A 25-point lead and 20 seconds left, and West Side turns that ball. Oh, almost. I anticipated it. And Andre Greb riding Kyle Laughlin.
Definitely backcourt on that.
Ball on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So that their foul was on the floor.
Both feet were in the backcourt when he threw it back in.
Ball off Greb. 11 seconds left. These are those times I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody, no hard fouls, no ridiculousness. Just
for sure.
Just play it straight up. There are no 26-point plays in basketball. And that's it. So, with first meeting of West Rutland and Proctor this year, Proctor comes away with a 25-point win, 51-26. Ultimately, really, Proctor's overall talent sort of overwhelmed West Side.
Could have been a lot worse.
Oh, it with the layups that were missed and some of the wide open shots, it easily could have been a 35 or 40-point game. But give credit to West Rutland. They hung in there. They battled the entire way. They worked hard during the game, and they'll have an opportunity to go back at them again in West Rutland.
Yep.
Once our fancy scorekeeper is done doing her fancy scoring, all that math and college learning and stuff, I'll give you a rundown of the scores for both teams. For West Side, with 26 points total, Bartlett had 1 point, Jacob Dow had 5, Johnson with 2, Grabowski with 3, Laughlin with 3, Maxim with 5, and William Grabowski with 7. For the Proctor Phantoms, Joe Valerio had 8, Andre Greb with 4, Gannon McCarron with 11, Logan Landon with 13, and Nick Ojala with 15, for a total of 51. And
what did Ojala have?
And Ojala had 15, Landon had 13.
Yep.
So, pretty much as we expected. And Proctor looks forward to another game coming up on Saturday against Danville, up in Danville.
Up there.
And from what I understand, the hardest thing about that's going to be the fact that you got to go to Canada before you end up in Danville. So, for Wade Mitchell and anybody else who wants to walk in front of the damn camera, we'll see you next time.
It was all
senior